Welcome everybody, welcome to the Tomb of Illumination. More flat earth physics here today in regards to the gyroscopic motion of the celestial bodies. Where does the gyro come into this? Why is it Da Vinci or someone standing there with this gyro type ball in his hand or someone? Or is it... No, it's someone else, wasn't it? Plato or someone. Plato knew the earth was flat, don't worry about that. So this video is to explain how and why we come about this gyroscopic motion on the assumed spinning ball. No, the bullshit spinning ball. So yeah, this is the the spinning ball BS version, and you get this spiral occurring in the celestial bodies. Well, you go online and they're showing it wrong here to start with, because the stars don't cross the tropics. They don't cross the tropical gap. But there's another story to that. Where is that tropical gap exactly? So, but for the purpose of gyros, just this video, just understand, because there's no curving magnetic field through the tropics. Okay, it's direct. We'll get into a little bit more of that with Walter Russell's book. So they don't cross the tropics at all. There's two systems: the southern hemisphere rotation, and then there's the northern hemisphere rotation with a gap. They don't cross like this. So to understand why we get this spiral effect is understanding the S-curve of creation within the central vortex. Okay? So before we get on to that, I'll just show you a little bit of this video.
We have the Earth inside of the celestial sphere, showing you the equator and north and south pole. But then we take those lines and we project them onto the celestial sphere. We also take Earth's orbital plane, which is known as the ecliptic, and here you can see these lines of latitude and longitude correlate with right ascension and declination. So you can have a particular star point in the sky and measure its right ascension and its declination on the celestial sphere. Say we pick another star like Sirius. Sirius has a very specific right ascension.
Can you look it up for right ascension and declination? So it's just strange that you have the celestial sphere. When we're on the sphere, remember, we're on the sphere. Why is space spherical? Should be, like if you look at the celestial equator, it should be one big rolling pin. They want to go with the BS, there's a rotation there and a rotation there, which there is if you've been following my videos, but as they come to meet, you'd have one rolling pin type sky rolling over your spinning ball Earth. But no, it doesn't work like that, does it? So why is there a curved night sky? Well, because you live on a flat plane and we're inside the toroidal field and everything's curving because the toroidal field, magnetic field lines curve, and it all comes out of the center vortex. This is the hyperboloid center basically, but this sits above the Arctic. But it's understanding how this works. So you've seen this image on the Superman chest. They know. And he's based in the Arctic, isn't he? Well, that's where he goes to get his kryptonite and whatever. So I've done an earlier video on this, I think. So it's understanding what that means. You can take it as one cycle, just one hemisphere, because that's what's in the centre north. It projects up and shows us the starry sky in the northern hemisphere. But then the southern hemisphere is mirrored. So there's other ways to understand this cycle too. As you can take it as half, and the other half is on the other side, you do not see. But at the end of the day, it gives you a full cycle, which looks like this. There's a full 360-degree cycle of the stars that wind down and then wind back up. So there's your half cycle winding down and wind back up. So you'll only see, at night, you will only see this half. Won't you? Because the other half is on the daylight side of your 24-hour cycle. There's the full cycle if you could follow the stars. If you could look from down on Earth and see it, there's your full cycle. The other way to look at it, because nothing's actually real anyway, it all comes from nothing, you take that and you bring it down, flat line it, because that's what it is, it's all flat lined. That's from the black hole. You just squash that down, squash it down, then look at it like that. That's squashed down, isn't it? So you've got your northern hemisphere here, that's the north, then you just pull it right up and flop it back down the other way, then you've got the southern hemisphere. It's opposite. So one way we're looking down, say, just drawing down into it, and the other way we're looking up from the bottom out. So in the southern hemisphere we're looking at all the stars from the bottom up, and in the north they're getting an image from above, plastered up in the night sky. Okay? So you see how we get this gyroscopic rotation they're trying to use on their ball there, but it all comes about from this curved motion. So imagine this projected out into your night sky as it turns. It's spiraling down. It's giving you the gyroscopic gyro regarding the flat earth system. The other way is creation's vertical, and that in our realm it's horizontal. So then you'd go spin it like that, wouldn't you? So you could say, like some people like to do their videos and show you the wave, the sine wave. But anyway, that's half the cycle here, so you'd continue that cycle and there's the rest of it. And there's your rest of the southern hemisphere, south and north. All easily explained on the flat earth system, isn't it? Your flat earth. Over to the Arctic centre. Out of the Arctic centre goes like that. You can bring all the way around, create your toroidal field if you want. But this has nothing to do with us. Earth is a neutral in between the two fields, positive and negative. That's a toroidal field, but there's also it's a double system. It's a dual system within itself. And this in here, this in here becomes the black hole of creation. This is our version. What's happening in the tropical gap is basically the full details of what's happening back at creation. You've got the system going down, flowing down this way, coming out of there, flowing down that way. And then you have the hydrogen molecule that's come from the Arctic, which has gone down that way, the Arctic. The water that's dropped out, the fluid, the pure fluid, water, via the sun, the actual plasma sun that's in the centre here by the black hole, the black hole of creation, comes along, goes back up to the centre here. So see how it's opposite? Creation's opposite to the physical world. Creation has the the hyperboloid going out, coming up, or going out to the tropics, the sun here. But in creation, this entity going up that way is coming down. Hang on. Oh, so the male comes out from the tropics and goes down into that way. That's the male end of the Milky Way. But the male entity is coming up through the tropics. Through the tropics as the females come down, the counter forces. The male's going up this way. It's opposite to the centre of creation. There's the black hole of creation. This becomes our black hole. So you break it all down the way I've shown it in my videos. I've shown you how a black hole works. And this is the avoidance zone. The tropical gap is the avoidance zone. And the magnetic field doesn't cross the tropics, does it? Just like in the black hole of creation, the force comes down, the Milky Way for male, and you got the female coming up, and they're avoiding each other and they're spinning around that hole. They're both going the same way, but because they're coming from opposite ends, just like we see in our star rotations, look, they're both rolling the same way, but if you look that way, that's going anti-clockwise, and that one's going clockwise. But they're both rolling the same way. This is what happens. Our whole system only moves in one direction. Okay? Moon, sun, stars, everything. Just at the different paces. Because you've got to consider this star motion. The moon tracks this pattern over the month. Spirals all the way down. Spirals all the way back up. The stars are doing this, background stars. But the Milky Way stars, they come in here. That's a different story again. That comes in the top here. Then you've got the female ones that come up. So it's another story. So there's your gyroscopic system in the flat earth. It's from the center vortex of creation. And it's a vortex, the turning vortex. It's all about water, because female, birth, creation, it's all about water, turning water. This is the female, the male coming in. Also, I'd just like to tell you, you go to Egypt, Aswan, what is an Aswan? Where they've got the big what is it? The obelisk. Big obelisk, giant obelisk. It's wider than this. It's about 10 meters long. 15 meters long maybe. It's lying on the ground. And you hear all the Egyptologist bullshit stories, blah 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 blah. But it's laying on the ground for a reason. It's all part of the puzzle for us man. It's been left for us to understand. The obelisk is representing the Milky Way. We see it horizontally in our night sky. It's like that. But in reality, it's half. You got half of it in, half of it out. You got the female in here. The sun created at the top, the black hole, right at the top, because the ecliptic plane is up here. That's the ecliptic plane up here. Okay, black hole dead center. So you've got the ecliptic plane that's been flatlined too, basically like that. But we have to imagine it. It's been drawn in the pyramids, shown us in the pyramids like this. These are the planets. And this is the cycle, the S-curve, the moon takes to come out here at full moon. Sun's up here, right? But we're looking up. We can't tell the moon's down here and the sun's up there, because to us it just looks like the moon's there. Well, you can't even tell that, because the sunlight is shining this way. You can't even tell that the full moon's sitting behind the sun. It's not what science tells you anyway. So that's how it works. There's the S-curve again in there. Let's just bring everything back down. All comes from nothing, folks. Flatlined. place of rest. We come from a dark place. No, it shouldn't be said like that. We come from the light. We enter the world in a dark state of consciousness. But basically, everything comes from nothing. Because we live in a conscious realm. Okay? Hope you understood that. Look that up. Right ascension is, I don't know why they call it right ascension, because they're only referring to the northern hemisphere, aren't they? If it's moving to the right, it's moving to the left if you're in the southern hemisphere. So that's the stars moving through the longitude basically. But then you get the declination of the seasonal changes, how it goes like this. There's another topic, I'll do a video on that. That's a good video. I'll put that one on Patreon. Yeah. Okay. If you like this sort of stuff, sign up to the Patreon page, guys. Put a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Cheers.